Darkness floods all the light that could promise change. Seems like a very depressing start to a video. So you might think that this is a depressing video, but it's quite positive, despite the rough start. Now, I noticed quite a few things myself throughout my life. I noticed that everything is a contributing factor to your experiences and to how you feel. Every single thing around you. So just a change in environment can do a huge difference. So yesterday I was kinda sleepwalking for my brother, but he lives in a very, very beautiful area, filled with beautiful nature, a very beautiful lake, and beautiful people too, or at least more beautiful than the people here. The people here seem so corrupt and filled with darkness that it's quite different. And here the crime rates are extremely high, and over there they're non-existent, basically. I don't think they've had a crime for the past like 10 years. Meanwhile here we have crimes happening every single day. Awesome. So, the starting passage, darkness floods every light that could promise change, does seem to hold true. Because there seems to be a lot more darkness in the world than there seems to be light. And light has never really won. There's always been some good people in the world, some people managing to fight their own darkness and even help others conquer their own. But not enough to actually ever beat darkness, or really push it back. We can just take history as an example. There are several places throughout history, like Cuba, for example, when the Europeans came, that were extremely peaceful. Like, they had I guess they had different types of genetics or whatever. Because their nature was basically that of, peace. They took care of one another, they helped one another. Everyone lived in peace and harmony, and maybe not, like, super duper high life quality, but everyone was taking care of one another. That's something that we're lacking. And I'm not saying that you should just let anyone into your house. I'm saying be a little bit paranoid. Don't just trust anyone, sure. But it doesn't cost much to not ruin someone else's life. And I get it. We live in a capitalist society where the entire goal is to ruin someone else's life. Or that is actually that is the way to get to the goal, generally speaking. Because it's a competition. And whenever there's a competition, there are winners and there are losers, right? It's not just a huge team that just cooperates and takes care of everyone and just makes the best out of it. And it's more like, you're kind of the weakling, so we're gonna destroy you, kinda. And even if you're not a weakling, even if you've done really well for yourself, if you have any shred of decency, or if you're trying to do the right thing when you're in these high risk, high reward situations, you're going to get screwed over by the people who are morally bankrupt. So, darkness does flood all the light that could promise change. Because no matter how much I personally would do, it wouldn't make that much of a dent in the world. It would make enough difference for a lot of people, but, even people like me need to accept that we cannot save the world. And I get it, it's pretty grandeur to even think about saving the world, but to contribute to saving the world, I don't think that's too grand of an idea. Right. But I don't think the world can ever be saved. I don't think humanity can ever truly be saved. That would have to be out of something supernatural or whatever. Speaking of which, well, it's not really supernatural, but more about saving humanity. There are many mindsets and many perspectives on how you could save the humanity. Some think if you get rid of 90% of the population, you could save it. Some think if you end all of humanity, you would save it, which I suppose, logically that would hold true, because if you remove the entire problem. It's kind of like this. It's the same type of solution as suicide to your problems. It is a permanent solution that does solve the problem, but it's not the best solution. But there are a lot of mindsets. Now, let me get a bit conspiratorial, or yeah, conspiracy oriented here. Now, there are a lot of different types of people in the world. Some are conformists, and some are more individualistic in that sense, at least, and more authentic. Right, and more honest and stronger in terms of being themselves and standing for their principles. I mean, principle people. Okay, anyways, you get what I mean. While conformists, you see what they're doing nowadays. Conformists are listening to the governments completely and not even considering other options. Like when it comes to the vaccines, some of the vaccines seem kinda shady, or I mean, you might wanna at least question some things, like, oh, this is a vaccine that's in a highly experimental stage that could cause severe side effects. Nah, the government says we should take it, so let's just take it, right? Pretty strange. Pretty strange, and people blindly follow. And then when you look at the stats, when you look at the facts surrounding it, it seems like, well, the waves of COVID stuff has been surging up more from vaccinated people, and I know this is something that won't be popular if this video would actually reach a lot of people. But it comes down to good and evil, weak and strong, kinda. Like everything boils down to that eventually. I mean, you could also boil it down to nothingness and nature, I suppose. I mean, nature kinda. Everything does boil down to nature eventually. I mean, in the end, we all follow our biological urges, right? Or most of us, anyways. Anyways, let's I personally don't see any point in taking the vaccine. Or, I mean, for myself, and it doesn't help anyone else either. Like, clearly, shown by the stats, people who have taken the vaccine are infecting more people than the people who are unvaccinated now. So, just saying, like, also, I don't seem to be in any danger, so, I very, very rarely get sick, and when I do, it only lasts for a day or two. Yeah, I'm that type of guy. That type of guy. So I'm not that worried. Like, I'm not worried about anything like that. And I don't think you should be worried about that unless you're actually, in danger, so to say. But it doesn't seem to actually help. Like, I don't see too much of a point to taking the vaccine. I don't see the point for pretty much anyone. I mean, okay, I suppose if we were a total hive mind, let's just consider it. Let's say we were a total hive mind and all took care of one another, and there came a global pandemic, which isn't the case now, because we're not a hive mind, and we're not taking care of one another at all. In fact, I think a lot of the COVID things have shown a lot of selfishness and also inability to administer critical thinking by pretty much everyone. So I'm in neither camp. I'm not saying I'm completely against everything or completely for everything. I'm saying I'm questioning each and every side. Anyways, if we were a hive mind, I would be, like what I just mentioned, I would be for it, because at that point we would probably have made a very good vaccine, right? Because we'd want to benefit humanity, right? We'd want to save as many as we possibly can. Well, maybe not a hive mind, but you get what I mean, but similar to a hive mind. It's similar, like really taking care of the group, That's the most important thing, is to make it so that as many of us survive and thrive as possible. So we save everyone possibly can, which isn't the case. Sadly. Because darkness floods every light that could promise change. Yeah, I mean, what more is there to be said? It's like, this holds true for everything, though. Like, critical thinking, just, if everyone tells you, oh, Orange Man bad, or Nazis bad, or, communists bad, if everyone just tells you something particular, if everyone says the same thing, question it. It's the same. It's like, if you have a Nazi school, whatever, and everyone is indoctrinated to become Nazis, you're still better off questioning it and maybe seeing, oh, maybe this isn't completely accurate. These ideas seem a bit strange, Think for yourself. Like, it's not much of a difference between you and the people indoctrinated at some Nazi school. You're literally the same. You've been indoctrinated by the government, most likely, depending on where you live. But in most places, you tend to be educated in a way that heavily favors your governments, or that heavily favors the people who make the most money out of it being favored. That tends to be the play. Like a power play, you could say. A power play, a wealth play. Well, in the end, a wealth play is a power play, potentially. Okay, anyways, that's tricky. But yeah, question everything that you've learned. Well, maybe not everything. You don't have to question the fact that men and women are different. Or you can question it, but you can clearly come to the conclusion yourself that men and women are clearly different in so many different ways, and also there is a lot of research about it. I don't even get why we would need that much research. It seems pretty straightforward that we're very different, and I think everyone has noticed that from their childhoods even. I think we've all noticed, and they say, oh, well, this, and it's all social construction. It's like, yeah, babies, seriously, like newborn babies, that's social construction, really. And also then teenagers, it's like, no, we have different hormones. And anyways, I don't have to explain that. It's not like I have to tell my audience that. It's just a bunch of shit pops up into my brain, and you know how these videos get. I'm gonna say a lot of stupid shit, and then I'm gonna say some smart shit, and then I'm gonna say more stupid shit, and then it's just gonna go on like that. And alright. But am I gonna make an effort in cutting the video and really working on my channel? No, because this channel isn't worth working on, considering YouTube is going to ban it. So why would I bother, right? When I have an idea for a video, maybe sometimes I make a video. Although I've recorded about, I think, 20 hours of footage that I haven't posted. And, that's sad. So right now I feel like I should post this, and then I'm gonna regret it tomorrow and maybe delete the video. Who knows? Maybe I said something extremely controversial and stupid, and maybe talking about this will get me in trouble. Maybe the COVID police will come after me. I don't know. Look, just have some critical thinking. My God, don't just do everything someone asks you to do. Just think for yourself. Seriously. It's not that hard. Don't be a fucking conformist. Being a conformist is being a total fucking moron. It's being an absolute useless, subhuman piece of shit that is worth nothing. You are literally a robot following commands of others, and you have no individual perception and no individuality. So don't. Seriously, grow the fuck up. And yeah, while you're at it, once you do grow up, you and I can have a lot of fun together. Yeah, we can have a lot of fun together. It's gonna be so much fun. You have no idea how much fun it's gonna be, so strap on. And also, do remember, even you can save the world. You can do your part in saving the world. If you do this, do it, and
Get off.